In a few billion years, our sun will be old, and our once beautiful planet Earth will be soon become a living corpse. Due to its old age, our planet will struggle to rotate around the sun. What do you think will happen? Right now, our planet is still in its youthful radiance, glowing as bright as our sun. But have you wondered how it will be like in another billion years? What will happen if Earth spun 700 times slower than it is now? The first answer will be that Earth will take about 16,800 hours for one rotation, and that is around 700 days. That will be slower than Venus' rotation, which takes around 143 days to rotate around the sun. Now imagine that. We will feel like time is not moving. How would our clocks read? 1 hour would take like 700 hours, and the days will be as long as 350 days of light, 350 days of darkness. That will be almost a year of summer without dark, and another year of darkness and cold. How would we view the time determinant sun? And what would we do with our new timelines? As the planet ages, it gets less efficient at taking care of itself as it used to. Before the complete death of our planet, the species on the planet will undergo weird seasons, but maybe they will evolve to the new planet. We have evolved so much to adapt to the current climate, and more changes might be not so significant and will not cause significant consequences as long as it is gradual. However, the Earth rotation will slow down in a very slow pace at first. Our clocks will read time differently, and then the time will be set according to the changes so that no one tells the difference. As they say, time is an illusion. Surprisingly, against human expectations, they will just live to the new change without thinking much through it. But what could they do even if they wanted to? One thing is, we will see the sun at a constant position for long enough, not moving at all. Days would not be that long, but somehow our brains will simulate the new time into our systems. Sunsets will take longer than 30 days, and so are the different positions of the sun. Time will feel so slow. But what if time slowed down gradually, at 2 times slower than now? Would we know? Earth species will ultimately adapt to the changes as they gradually take place until they realize something has changed, and it is changing every single day. When they realize that, it will be too late because the planet will be reaching its final stages. It will get too old to rotate, and the more it ages, the even more slower it will be. When people realize they might be in danger as a planet, some will move to the other discovered planets which are not likely to bring in the same experience as Earth. They might be slightly better or worse. Many will feel agitated because what they once knew as home will be slowly giving up its own soul. Due to extreme agitation, some few powerful individuals would believe that it was the fault of the sun, and all that was caused by the altered reality of time. It will be too late though. The sun had aged too, and it was only a matter of time before it disappeared. Since there will be great technology, traveling through space would not be an issue for many. That assures us of continuity because not all will be lost of our planet. Using extremely powerful missiles, the sun will be shot down by the military in the west. At that moment, the sun will be brightly shining from the east. They will then believe shooting it at that position is much safer than when it is 1 p.m. The sun had stayed there for what seemed like months without showing any changes of position depending on Earth's movements. From an angle, the missiles would go straight into the star. Many of them followed suit. In a moment, a part will fall down on the east. Planet Earth being rockier than it is now, the splits of the sun will fall in different parts of the planet later on too. Some others will fall elsewhere, I cannot tell where exactly, but the ones that fell were only little fraction of pieces compared to the massive star. What is most surprising is that the star would not be hot at all. It will be light blue clear rock of the sun, and as it falls, somehow it will freeze as it reaches the Earth's surface. From a distance, you could see all the beauty of the once massive star of our solar system, and even more closely, the radiance of its soul will cut through people's hearts. At that moment, no one would think of the next life without the sun. Reality will sink in only after a few days when the sun doesn't come up again, and this time it will be all over the world. Everything will be cold, things will be cold, people will be cold, species will be cold, and the earth will be cold again. As old as it is, that will be catastrophic. Our lifespan will be less than 50 years, and people could give birth twice a day, that is, every morning and evening. Wow! But there will be no tomorrow. It will take it will always be the now, the then, and only then. For if you say tomorrow, you will mean like after 700 days, which is longer than a year. If you mean the following week, then you might find someone old enough to be your grandfather. So people will make use of their time while focusing on what could be done at that given moment, or somehow find another way out. But sadly, they will kill the sun and planet Earth will die in darkness. That is really, really sad. But it is true, our people will do it. What will be the effects of the fall of the sun on humanity? First, this whole thing will be catastrophic. I cannot say otherwise. Or we would rather say the time freezing will cause immense panic. People will then get to understand that time was not an illusion but still a very important tool once invented billions of years before. Is time really an illusion? Currently, the fact that great beautiful memories flashes in a few seconds, while sad events take longer than normal, is phenomenal. And this might be because our brains oversee some of the happy memories when we are truly fascinated. We are hooked onto the beauty of life that we cannot see the misery of it all, while when sad, everything crashes down, and sometimes we ask ourselves why we are even going through all that at all. We have a lot of time to figure out what we are going on and what we are going to do about it without even acting on them. It is because of this that we feel burdened with life, and time do not seem to move. And that is the beauty of time. In the case of the fall of the sun, humanity dropped off the idea of time. I hope another brighter star evolved, though I did not see much. But our planet doomed to be extinct. If there is anything humanity must do is to find another younger habitable planet and make it a home. We can do it for our own survival as well as other species' survival. And what are the effects on the environment? The planet Earth will be even more rockier as it ages, and this is due to soil erosion, floods, and disasters that leave the planet vulnerable to external attacks. Most of the soils will be in the sea as the water levels rise. There will be little vegetation in the east. As predicted that populations would rise, that is not true at all. If not lesser, they will remain the same numbers. Nature has a way of balancing all the equations to ensure the planet's survival. We cannot have that which we cannot deal with. Even if it went up to extreme levels, it will surely come down. Due to extreme sun exposure, most of the vegetation will dry out. Some will adapt so well, while others would not. It will be a dangerous moment for each and every element of the planet. It will be like seeing the end and living in the end without understanding the things that will change and without knowing when things will change. For others, they will be happy to travel and see the world. One could move to a colder place or hotter places interchangeably, and thanks to technology. But would that generation understand our times? Would we be part of their history? The younger generations of that time would not understand what it is like to have a 24 hours day. Maybe they would think we were a hoax altogether. What is even funnier is that we will have extremely shorter lifespans. The details I have shown you are bound to happen in the future. I am not a prophetess, but I do believe there is a reason to every little thing. Do not panic though. You might not be alive then. you might be alive. What do you think about the fall of the sun and the death of our planet? Please comment and share. Do not forget to subscribe.